The future for the Amazon region in South America, upon which so much depends. President Luis Ignacio Lula da Silva is back in power in Brazil, promising to protect the rainforest. His ambitious aim is to end deforestation by 2030. He faces huge challenges, political and economic, to impose his vision across a vast area and entrenched interests resistant to change. After 4 years under his controversial predecessor Jair Bolsonaro, can Lula promote new forms of economic development and stop the rainforest disappearing at record levels? And what about the international response? Will tens of billions of dollars really be made available to help save the Amazon? That's the real story from the BBC, coming up after the news.
NatWest has increased the size of its bonus pool by 23% to £367.5 million. And the bank, which remains 46% owned by taxpayers, said it had returned £2.6 billion to the government during the year. But the shares have fallen this morning by more than 8%. That's on its guidance to investors on its likely performance in 2023. Well, I've been speaking with the NatWest Chief Executive, Dame Alison Rose. Obviously, these are the best numbers since the financial crisis. I mean, some people will say, well, this is all down to higher interest rates. Presumably, you'd say there was more to it than that.
Yeah, it's a strong performance by the bank, 5.1 billion of operating profit. And it's a combination of, obviously, the continuing delivery of our strategy and the strong support of our customers. We saw 6.7% increase in lending growth. Really importantly, we stayed in the mortgage market during the period of disruption. We're continuing to lend to business responsibly. So delivery of strategy, good performance, and most importantly, a strong, resilient balance sheet, which means we can continue to support our customers through what still remains challenging macroeconomic conditions.
You've set aside £337 million for doubtful loans. That's lower than the market was expecting. Why is that?
Yeah, we're not seeing any signs of stress on our balance sheet. I think, I would distinguish between the real high anxiety and concern that customers are feeling from the cost of living squeeze. And I think, for businesses, it's really tough out there. When I talk to businesses up and down the country, they're really struggling, but incredibly resilient. But what we're not seeing is that move into arrears in mortgages, for examples, or defaults on loans, or what we call heightened monitoring on our business loans. In fact, our levels remain pre-COVID levels. So that gives you a sense of how resilient the UK economy and households and businesses are being. But it is really tough out there. We're making sure that we're providing and keeping our balance sheet with lots of capital and lots of liquidity so we can deploy it to help people and stand alongside them.
What kind of assumptions are you making about the trajectory of bank rate this year?
Yeah, on our assumptions going forward, we've assumed interest rates stay at 4% for the rest of the year and then gradually reduce over the course of next year. So those are the assumptions that we're making. And then we're working really hard with, businesses and families to think about how we can help them navigate both sides of their balance sheet, whether it's lending and savings to support them.
Obviously, the market's been spooked by your outlook statement on net interest margin this year. I assume that is underpinned by your expectations there on bank rate, which is slightly more dovish than the market as a whole is thinking.
Yeah, our guidance, we're very thoughtful when we give guidance to the market. I mean, we're essentially saying we expect to make a return on tangible equity of between 14 to 16%. I've always talked about making sure the bank is delivering long-term sustainable returns, good capital so that we can support our customers and support the economy. We've made an assumption of 4%. I think the latest forecasts are that may be higher, but I think it's important that we are able to deliver what we say, and we're quite thoughtful about the guidance we give. I think 14 to 16% return on tangible equity will probably be the best guidance that is out there in the market. Importantly, we have liquidity and capital to support the economy.
Obviously, you've come under fire recently for the extent of the interest rate rises from the Bank of England that you're passing on to savers. Why are you not being more generous, as it were?
Well, what we're doing is we're making sure we're really targeting helping people save. 1 in 4 people in this country have less than £100 of savings in their account. So one of the strategies I put in place when I took over was, how do we help build financial resilience? Our digital regular saver account is paying 6% interest, and that's helping people build the habit of saving. You can save as little as £1, but that 6% means it's encouraging people to save. Our Roundup tool, we have over 1 million people using that now on a regular basis, and we've helped 1.7 million people save £100 for the first time. And so that's about building financial resilience. So 6% on our digital regular saver. We have fixed term deposit accounts paying between 3 and 4%. So I think we're paying good interest rates. We have a suite of products, but what I'm really focused on is how can we help build resilience, and particularly in young people as well. Our youth account is paying 2%. And we're doing a lot of work helping young people build financial skills and capability, where post-COVID and in the cost of living, we're seeing real lack of confidence in the younger generation. 80% of them are not confident about their financial capability, and 57% are saying cost of living is the thing that they worry about most. So we are passing on interest rates. We're targeting it around building healthy and sensible savings habits, rewarding it with 6% interest rate.
You mentioned just now that you stayed in the mortgage market during the upheaval of the autumn. What kind of assumptions are you making about the housing market this year?
Yeah, it was really important we stayed in the mortgage market during that period of disruption. It was hugely stressful for customers. We were one of the only banks who stayed in the market. We didn't pull products. What we are seeing with higher interest rates, that there are lower volumes in the mortgage market, as you would understand. And so the Bank of England, I think, put out some data around smaller volumes in the mortgage market. What we're focused on, our customers largely are on fixed rates. Around 92-93% of our customers have fixed rate. So we're really working with them to say, how do we help you navigate? What are the choices that you have going forward? We are seeing mortgage rates come down closer to 4% now, and I think that's a real positive for households. In terms of house prices, we are seeing a softening in house price. Our economic assumptions are house prices may drop by around 7%. I think the OBR says 10%. Don't forget, house prices rose by 10% over the last year. So there is some softness in that market. The most important thing is helping customers think about what's the right choice for them.
Now, you've increased the size of the bonus pool by £70 million to £367.5 million. Your pay has gone up from £3.6 million to just over £5 million. Is that appropriate during a cost of living crisis?
Well, the bonus awards that we've paid are really reflective of the performance, and NatWest has always been a back marker on bonuses, and I expect us to continue to do so. I think in terms of our reward for our colleagues, we've really focused on those on the lowest salaries as well. For my own pay, clearly in the financial services sector, it's an incredible privilege to do these jobs, and we're very well rewarded, and I'm very cognizant of that.
But you weren't tempted to waive any bonuses in view of the sort of difficulties that a lot of customers are going through right now?
Well, I think it's important that we continue to deliver strong financial performance and reward our colleagues for the job they're doing. As I say, our bonus pool is significantly lower than the rest of the market. We always tend to be a back payer on that, and making sure that we balance that appropriately and retain good talent within the organisation.
That was Dame Alison Rose from NatWest speaking to me a little earlier this morning. Some other business news stories for you now. And UK retail sales volumes unexpectedly rose last month, according to the Office for National Statistics. Volumes, that's the quantity of items sold, were up 0.5% on December. City economists had expected a 0.3% decline. Well, the ONS said there was evidence that January sales promotions had supported a rise for online retailers in particular, but said discounting also appeared to have helped jewellers, cosmetic stores and carpet and furniture shops. Retail sales values, which is the amount of money spent, were up by 0.6% month on month. The UK's biggest owner of industrial warehouses said this morning there is a significant volume of capital ready to be deployed in the industrial and logistics sector. SEGRO said its sector had been hit last year by the sharp increases in interest rates for both the UK and the Eurozone, but it insisted occupier demand for warehouse space across Europe continued to be positive. Well, the company was reporting an 8.4% rise in full-year pre-tax profits to £386 million on an adjusted basis. And the hybrid estate agent Purple Bricks this morning effectively put itself up for sale after warning it would make a bigger loss than expected during the current financial year. The company said sales instructions during the latest quarter had been below its expectations. It's now launched an exercise aimed at cutting £4 million from its costs. But it added that its potential might be better realised under an alternative ownership structure, and that as a result, it had decided to conduct a strategic review, which could result in a sale of the company or some or all of its businesses. The shares are currently off by some 12%. Now, almost half of workers have said they'd consider resigning if they found that their employers' values do not align with their own. The Net Positive Barometer, which surveyed 2,000 employees in the UK, found that although people are concerned about paying their bills, more people are worried about the future of the planet and want to work for companies which are doing something about it. Well, I'm joined now by Paul Polman, the former chief executive of Unilever, who commissioned the survey. Paul, great to see you this morning. Are we talking here about predominantly younger workers?
No, we actually don't. We did a survey of about 4,000 people, 2,000 in the UK, 2,000 in the US, and fairly represented the industries in line with what the economy is. And we see it amongst all parts of the population. More importantly, though, we're sitting on a ticking time bomb here, because if you look at the numbers for millennials or Gen Z specifically, these numbers would go up significantly. As you say, nearly half of them care about the environment, the values of the companies, but more importantly, the positions the companies take. They think that over half of the CEOs don't set the targets that are required, that they lack the seriousness to implement their commitments, and that is directly affecting their engagement with the companies, to the extent that 1/3 of them have actively quit and half of them are considering quitting. So in an era of scarcity of labor, where we need the talents, where we need to address these issues of humanity, we're sitting on a ticking time bomb, and the era of conscious quitting is upon us. That is the warning that we're giving to the CEOs. The positive thing about this, Ian, is that there are solutions. The workforce wants to be part of the solutions for a company. They want to have the company do well. So they are crying out for higher ambitions. They're crying out for more involvement themselves, and they're crying out for empowerment to be part of those solutions.
Paul, shouldn't people be thinking about these issues before they take a job, rather than deciding halfway through that they want to do something about this?
Oh, well, they certainly do, but it's sometimes difficult to fully assess what a company does when you're not working there. We saw in Unilever, where we had 2 million people applying to us every year, that 75% of them came in because of our purpose-driven business plan, and they wanted to be part of something bigger than just earning money. Of course, it's important also in today's environment to get paid fairly and to have your benefits. But if you now see at an equal amount employees calling for companies to act responsibly in this environment, then we're sitting on an issue that probably is more important than most of the CEOs realize.
Which sectors do you think are potentially most vulnerable to this sort of conscious quitting, as you describe it?
We thought, Ian, that there would be a difference, and we looked at the fossil fuel sector, we looked at the banking sector, we looked at tobacco. But when the numbers are so high, when you're talking about 30% quitting across basically all these age groups and going up for millennials and Gen Zs, when about 2/3 on total demand companies to take higher actions, it's difficult to differentiate significantly between these industries. So I don't want to go into that. We just have too small a database to make sound conclusions on that. But the numbers are staggering across the board. So I assume it's true for most of the industries.
Paul, what we've got here, I mean, you obviously ran Unilever for a very long time. During your time at the helm, inflation was relatively benign compared with how it is now. Did you have an easier time of it than some of your predecessors?
With inflation, you mean? Or what do you mean?
Yeah, with inflation. I mean, it's a difficult time for consumer goods companies right now.
Well, that's always a reason. When I came in, it was the height of the financial crisis. That was a difficult time. We have the planetary boundaries that are affecting our business. Most companies in consumer goods, most CEOs think that on the current trajectory in 15, 20 years' time, they won't make any profits. They won't have a license to operate. What this study shows is not different when I started, is that CEOs need to take a broader responsibility for the issues in society, that they need to step up their ambitions, and that their employees are ready to support them. And if they don't, they walk away. I don't think, Ian, that was significantly different in my time. And most importantly, we know that the challenges might slightly change over time. Some might become more urgent than others. Climate change, inequality, certainly high on the agenda now. And the best way to solve that is to have an engaged workforce and enroll them into finding the solutions.
All right, Paul, we have to leave it there. Pleasure to catch up with you this morning. Thank you.
Likewise, Ian. See you soon. Thanks.
Now, the construction company Morgan Sindall has helped the RSPB to buy a plot of land in Norfolk that will allow restored wetlands to be expanded. The 54-hectare plot neighbours the RSPB's existing Lake and Heath Fen site, which was turned into a nature reserve in 1995. It's now home to a number of threatened bird species, including the bittern and the crane. Well, joining me now is Graham Edgell. He's Director of Sustainability and Procurement at Morgan Sindall. Graham, welcome to you. What was the genesis of this deal?
Good morning, Ian. As a construction business, we're conscious of our sector and how we impact on the wider community and the environment. And we have a portfolio of projects that actually make sure that we mitigate those and work with other well-meaning businesses to actually safeguard communities, the environment, and foster wildlife and nature.
How much is this going to cost you?
Well, for us, Ian, it's not about the money. In a sector like us, it's about doing the right thing, making sure we get the right outcome. So it's all about positive impacting and getting involved so that we can actually create that better environment. So with our, in relation to your last interview, it's about our team and our colleagues. We're empowered in this business to actually make these kind of contributions. So it's not about the money.
Will you retain an interest in the site?
Yes, of course. We're into a long-term legacy portfolio with people like the RSPB. We're absolutely delighted that they would accept a construction company to work with them, and we're in it for the long term.
And what's going on the site at the moment?
Well, what we've done at the moment is we've been able to acquire 54 hectares of land, which was a bit of a disjointed jigsaw. So the RSPB were unable to expand the nature reserve until they had this. It's the key to opening up the rest of the site.
Okay, Graham, I'm so sorry. I've got to interrupt you. I'm afraid we've got some breaking news to go to. I do apologise. Thanks very much for joining me.
Progress has been
we're going
made.
To Belfast now, where representatives from Sinn Féin are speaking.
We now want to see a speedy conclusion of matters, and above all else, we want to see the institutions restored, government restored here in the north. The bottom line is that we have to ensure that any deal provides for ongoing access to the European single market, no hardening of the border on the island of Ireland, and a protection of the Good Friday Agreement in all of its parts. Those are the core elements and aspects that need to be protected. But it seems to us that it's very much game on, and we're very heartened by that. We're very, very conscious that a deal can be done, should now be concluded speedily. We hope that that will be the case. And then it's a matter for everyone, for each of the political parties to step up, get back to work and deliver for people here in the north of Ireland. I think we've all seen in recent weeks certainly an upping of the pace of political engagement and activity. That, to our mind, is a very, very positive thing. It's absolutely necessary that there is intensive goodwill, good faith work done between the parties. So for us, this is part of a rolling series of events that we very much hope leads to a speedy conclusion, a deal that protects the core elements of the protocol, that smooths out those elements that can be, and that then creates the opportunity, indeed the responsibility for everybody concerned to get the executive up and running, to get Michelle into work as First Minister for all, and to really get to the issues of concern for the communities across the north of Ireland.
Do you believe at this stage, do you believe a deal has been done?
I believe that very, very significant progress has been made, and I believe that a deal is absolutely possible and absolutely necessary. And I hope that we see a speedy, successful conclusion to matters. I hope that the core of the protocol is absolutely protected. That's essential. And I hope above all else that people elected in last May's Assembly election now step up, get back to work, get the executive up and running. God knows we need government here. There has been a limbo and a sense of drift for people here that quite frankly is unacceptable. So that's the bottom line, and that's really the end game for us. Well, look, I think the Prime Minister is here the British Prime Minister is here to see what everybody thinks and to listen to all perspectives. I hope, you know, the DUP talk about their tests, but you know, there's one bigger test for everyone, and that's the test of what people expect. There will be a test for everyone. The test will be, are you prepared to govern? Are you prepared to share power on the basis of equality? And everybody concerned is going to face that test, we believe, fairly soon. I was only delighted with myself, of delight, ecstatic. Can you not tell? It's common practice, as you know, over many, many years for the Sinn Féin President and Vice President to take these meetings jointly. So it was a very constructive meeting.
It was.
And it was my first occasion to meet the Prime Minister, but I look forward to many further engagements with him.
Did you get any detail of what's coming in the date or what the choreography is over the next couple of days? And should we read anything into the fact you're allowed in?
I'm generally allowed into places, just to be clear. I think the essential elements of what will be in a deal are really very well rehearsed over months now. We know that it's about smoothing the interaction east-west around goods coming from Britain into the north of Ireland and how we achieve that. It's about lessening the administrative burden. It's about data sharing. All of these elements are well rehearsed. There's no great mystery here, folks. These are the issues that need final sign-off. The deal also has to be very, very clear on no hardening of the border on the island of Ireland, protecting the Good Friday Agreement in all of its parts, and of course, crucially, access to the European market for businesses here in the north. Those are the elements. We're heartened by the fact that very positive work, it seems to us, has been done. We want to see that now increase in intensity and pace, and we want this to land positively. And then we want government here. We want work done. We want people to know that when they come out and elect people, that those elected people crack on and do the job for them. Well, look, you can choose to take that view if you wish. We're not prepared to be cynical. The stakes here for us are far too high. We will always be optimistic, hopeful, pragmatic, hard-headed, but always hopeful, because failure here is not an option. Failure is simply not an option. We need to get these matters resolved, and then we need to get government back up and running. Those are the bottom lines. And as I said, there should be no doubt amongst anybody in the world of politics that the expectation of people, not just here in the north, but right across the island, is that government gets back to work here. And that's what we want. We want that to happen, and we refuse to be cynical on that score.
What did Rishi Sunak say about that for perhaps the people who would wish that the protocols were banned?
He accepts that. He accepts that those the core of the protocol has worked, and he has expressed the need to negotiate and to figure out how to resolve those parts that need a smoother application, or as he put it, the parts that weren't working. But there's no doubt, I mean, the protocol is a consequence of Brexit. The protocol is necessary, and the Prime Minister is in absolutely no doubt of that.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Jeez, it's a bit chilly.
There we go. I'm sure that added a lot of value to the sum of human knowledge. That was Michelle O'Neill from Sinn Féin. We have some breaking news to bring you. In the last few minutes, Joseph Watts, who's 35 years old, has pleaded guilty at Uxbridge Magistrates Court to assault by beating after attacking the Arsenal goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on January the 15th. You'll, of course, recall that at the end of the game, Aaron Ramsdale was picking up his kit bag from behind the goal, and a Tottenham fan came out and tried to aim a kick at him, and I think actually connected. So that's Joseph Watts, 35 years old, pleaded guilty to assault by beating. He lives in Hackney, apparently. It's a long way to travel for that hearing. Well, last night's sell-off on Wall Street was followed by declines overnight for equities in the Asia-Pacific region. Hong Kong fell by more than 1.25%, while there were also falls in Tokyo, Shanghai, Sydney and Mumbai. Singapore, in fact, was the only major market in the region to finish higher overnight. Well, in Europe, it's a similar story this morning. All the major continental European indices are lower right now. If you look at the CAC 40 in Paris, that, like the FTSE 100, hit a record high this week. That's off by nearly 0.75%. Talking points in Europe this morning include Mercedes-Benz. The shares are up 2% in Frankfurt after its results came in better than expected. Well, here in London, the FTSE 100 is also in negative territory. Look at that, it's all a smidgen beneath the 8,000 milestone there. Financial stocks are weighing on the index. That's following that cautious guidance from NatWest this morning. That's the leading blue chip faller right now. NatWest was off some 8% earlier on. I think it's recovered a bit of ground. It's around 6% right now. Other FTSE fallers with NatWest include Lloyds Banking Group. Its results out next week, of course. Well, Segro, mentioned them earlier on in the programme. They're the leading FTSE gainer this morning, while the gaming group Flutter Entertainment has built on its gains from earlier this week. The shares are up some 10% so far this week. Outside the FTSE, Wizz Air and EasyJet are both among leading mid-cap gainers this morning. There you go. Wizz Air up 4%, EasyJet 2.5%. That follows some strong figures out elsewhere in Europe this morning from Air France KLM. But the drug maker Indivior is off another 3%. That's on broker comment, which follows its results yesterday. Well, on the foreign exchange markets, the US dollar has hit a 6-week high after some strong economics data has pointed to more interest rate rises from the Federal Reserve. Sterling off 0.2% right now against the greenback, more or less unchanged against the euro. The single currency, meanwhile, is off 0.25% against the dollar. As for the oil price, well, it too has sold off on those concerns over US interest rates. A barrel of Brent crude right now will set you back $83.37 a barrel. That is down a little over 2%. Well, joining me now is Sophie Lund-Yates. She's lead equity analyst at Hargreaves Lansdown. Sophie, welcome to you. NatWest really spooked the market this morning. This is all about, essentially, they think that interest rates have peaked.
Forward to your company. Really hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for star, R for radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of digging the hole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been
that?
told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of digging the hole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Turn it on. Turn it up. Broadcasting live online.
Online, on mobile, and soon on DAB. This is Starr Radio UK, the leading Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Body is your man. Show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you want.
Start your weekend. The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Welcome.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands. The hand will never change. You remain the same to the end.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
This is Starr Radio UK.
That's why forever call you great. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Greatly to be praised. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. This I'll celebrate.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a dawn fade, and that's what makes you great.
You are God. You will never change. You remain the same till the end. Till the end. You are God.
One who took my pain, took away my shame. Lord, you reign.
That's why forever call you great. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Greatly to be praised. Great are you, Lord. Great are you.
Okay, let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you. And once again, we say welcome to the Friday edition of the morning show on Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Play in the background something from Edith Morrison. Love for you runs deep.
You make a doubt they fade.
And I'm saying good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi, Mr. Dant, Tabiri, and my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. Now, we've had a very challenging morning, from dawn till now. Let me say morning to Reverend Michael Siama and Power Hour. We were having a challenge this morning. But hey, for your love and for the sake of the love you have for us as well, we are here this morning once again to continue with the show. So let me say morning to Bishop Adeshina, Pastor Momo, Anthony Dideji, Eben is a Hammond all the way in Cape Town, Chantel, Moyiwa, Adekunle, good morning to you. Sir Maxwell, I salute you, Papa. And to all you wonderful people, those who have tuned in for the first time to listen to us, I salute each and every one of you. And once again, I say welcome to the show. Mrs. Evelyn Tabiri, and the girls, good morning to you. And Mr. Dant, every morning once again. My brother Felix, wherever you are, massive good morning to you as well. On the back of your say, I salute you, Auntie Lizzie. I hope you guys are doing good. Alright then, so now let's crack on to the program for today. I'm going to bring you the quote of the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll move on from there to have a look at the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as the Global Trotting. At 11 o'clock exactly, we'll bring you updates from Nigeria, where Mr. Olayomi is going to tell you there's lots of stories making the rounds this morning. How many days more for the elections? 8 days. Will the elections hold or not? It's less than 8. Even tell me that 7 plus some hours and some minutes there. But whatever it is, we're all looking forward to it. Is it going to be? Is it not going to be? Well, I will tell you more about that. And then we'll move on from there as well to look at some of the other stories making the rounds. At 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussion. At 12:30, we bring the first part of the program to a close. And in the gist, that's what's going to be happening today. So wherever you are, once again, keep your dial solo locked on Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 10:45 the time, the 17th day of February, the year 2023. So the quote of the day says, every successful person was at some point pregnant with a vision, dream, or idea. And unlike a pregnant woman, experience physical, psychological, and emotional changes in the process. So, like pregnant women, they are hormones and everything. You know that, don't you? Yeah. So, during becoming successful, you go through all those moods. Like this morning, we were going through on this dawn. But some way, somehow, we have to be here. We have to make sure that it takes along. And once again, let me say thank you to my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. I didn't let him sleep at all. Alright then, now let's move on to the weather from what has the weather got in stock for us for today and over the weekend. Let me tell you more about that. So this afternoon will remain rather cloudy with the odd patch of light rain or drizzle. However, there is also the chance of a few occasional brighter spells remaining mild and breezy. Now this evening and tonight will continue to be quite cloudy with the odd patch of light rain or drizzle drifting eastward towards dawn. Top temperature is going to be 15 degrees. The lowest is going to be 11 degrees. UV level low, pollution low. Sunset 17-19. Sunrise for tomorrow morning 07-11 hours. Now, when it comes to the weekend weather for tomorrow, we're going to be having widespread cloud and the odd patch of light rain lingering during the morning. This could begin to thin and break quite widely during the afternoon. And then comes Sunday as well. Yes, Sunday will be dry and bright with variable amounts of high cloud. Monday we'll see bright spells. So, in a gist, that's what's going to happen for you over the weekend. Now, let's move on straight to your travel updates after this quick commercial break. Stay tuned. Don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. I'm keeping updated. I promise I'm on the Starr Radio Travel Update that comes to every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:48, and let's crack on. Now, for those of you traveling using the underground in London, this is what is happening. Now, Bakerloo line has got park closure, Central line minor delays, and the Jubilee line has got pass suspension and severe delays there as well. Now, as you know, until Monday, the park closures on the London Overground will still pertain. And then on Tramlink as well until Sunday the 19th, yes, park closures there as well. That aside, all the others, good service and DL are good service there. Now, moving on straight to the major roads in London, I can tell you shortly. Now, A10, A12, A2, A3, A4, A41, Central London road routes have all got closures. However, A1 has got serious delays, so if you can avoid it, do your best to avoid that. And aside, all the others, no exceptional delays there. By the Starr Radio UK. Now, on the riverbank this morning, we have got planned closures on the Woolwich Ferry to customers at 10 a.m. on Friday, 17 February 2023, and reopen at 6 on 6 a.m. on Thursday, the 9th of March, for some work to be done there. That aside, all the others, good service there. Also, on the London cable car, good service there. But moving on straight to the final segment of the travel update, and that is the National Rail. What is happening there? Keep your eyes on the road. Now, across country, East Midlands Railway and First Transparent Express have got severe delays. That aside, Grand Central, Mercy Rail and Southern have got minor delays. Also, we got Great Western Railway. That's got special service. London North Eastern Railway special service. Lumo severe delays. Northern Rail special service. ScotRail special service, and Southwestern Railway special service there as well. And that is why I say it once again. Well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your comment for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
You are listening to Star Radio Morning Show.
Welcome back to the program, Star Radio UK. It's now time for Global Trotting. So what is happening in your area? You want to share with us? Yes, and we're going to do so. But when it comes to updates that we're going to be looking at from Nigeria, these are some of the stories making the rounds there. Well, interestingly, this morning, there were tensions along the Isheri-Igando this morning as protesters barricaded the road over the rejection of the old Naira notes by commercial transport workers. So it's a serious mess. Now the president made a statement and decided to travel to Ethiopia for the African Union whatever special session or okay, so he's out of town. Now, fighting erupted in some areas in the popular Lagos-Ikorodu Expressway in Lagos State over the scarcity of the new Naira note and the hardship the policy has thrown Nigerians in. The question is the government just trying to do that to, whip down the inflation in the country, or to punish politicians who have stored whether ill-gotten wealth or whether genuine, instead of putting the money in the banks, decided to keep it in their homes? I said, interestingly, if I were there, I would have just opened the bank immediately. Or be a good Samaritan, but just be dishing the money out. Give it to lots of people. Let them take it to the banks if they deposit it. If they're able to deposit it, and then you can give them some percentage. At least that will, in that case, you'll not lose all. What about that? Well. Buhari disobedient to the Supreme Court. Jigawa will keep spending. Jigawa is saying that we will keep spending old Naira notes. Governor Badaru of Jigawa is saying. So what is all that confusion about? The timing. Did they get it wrong? What is that? Lots more going to be coming your way once we have Mr. Olayomi with us on the updates from Nigeria. But now let's move on to other parts of the world. Let's look at what is happening there as well. Okay, so in the UK front, we have British embassy spy being sentenced for leaking secrets to Russia. David Smith, 58, was caught in a sting operation by the fake Russian agent after collecting secret information. Oh my goodness. And some breaking news coming through. Please to face question over barely disclosures. Now, you know that disclosure, whether it is in the good sense or honestly, the person is missing. All that they want is to find the person. Whatever was the push or the pull factors doesn't matter now. Well, unless of course maybe the husband was abusing her, which is not the case. So if she was using DRT and stopped using it, and because of that she's having all this and was trying to use alcohol to actually push that down and all those things. So what do you think? The Prime Minister is meeting at Stormont parties over the Northern Ireland goods deal. Now, speculation is rising that agreement can be reached on post-Brexit trading arrangements, and we'll be following the very closely. Now, EDF's UK profits soar after electricity prices hikes, but the French energy firm made huge losses as a whole due to problems with nuclear reactors. Well. It is all Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. They tell you that they are not charities. They are in there to make money. On the African continent, Al-Shabaab killed in 5 Shabaab killed in an American strike. The U.S. military announced on Thursday that it had killed 5 Shabaab fighters in a strike in a remote region of Somalia. This country is waging a war on them. Now, 6 Egyptian cops kidnapped in Libya as well. Those are some of the stories. Opposition leader detained as Senegal tensions rise. As some of the story, Israeli firm sought to influence election across the world, mostly in Africa. That is quite an interesting one. Which areas are they doing so? The Ethiopian Orthodox Church says internal crisis over after dissident apologizes. Well, let's see what is happening on that front. In the international front as well, Ohio town reels chemical train crash as our Chernobyl. Residents of this close-knit community fear the railroad disaster has changed their lives forever, especially having some of their pets, ill and stuff like that going on. The warnings at the luxury apartment that turned to dust. Now, concerns were raised at the flats in Gaziantep, where 136 people died after last week's earthquake. Well, Taiwan finds suspected Chinese weather balloons. The balloons crashed on an island, and Taiwan says there is no cause to jump to conclusions. Now, high-profile Chinese billionaire reported missing. Biofan's disappearance has renewed concerns over potential crackdown on finance and tech figures. India's top cricket selector quits after TV stink is some of the stories, and strike action brings German airports to a halt. So if you're traveling to Germany today, be warned. You'll be facing some challenges there and delays. No deal with Putin on territory. That is what Zelensky is saying, standing his ground. He's not going to have any deal with them. No concessions. All right then. So now let's move on to some other stories making the rounds this time around in Ghana as well. A former IGP of Ghana under Jerry John Rawlings regime, Peter Namfuri, has passed on. That is information coming through. The former IGP reportedly died on Friday, February 16, that's yesterday, at age 81. He was the director of the Bureau of National Investigation in 1986 till he was appointed as IGP in 1996. I remember him very, very well. And 3 truck drivers transporting vegetables from Boko to Accra shot dead, 4 others injured. Who and what is happening? The DDEP leaves our pensioners alone, Gbagbin tells finance minister. But well, they say they are having some deals with them. So what has happened? Well, blood shortage in Ghana. Well, donation has gone down, and therefore there seems to be a huge shortage there. And judgment of Anas, 25 million defamation suit against Ken Ajipon deferred to March 15. Those are some of the stories making the rounds this morning on Star Radio UK. That will bring you details of it in a moment. But for now, let's go enjoy this music from Nana Manuel. And he says, Jwayeye, receive your praise or receive your thanksgiving. Enjoy it and I'll be with you.
worldwide, online 24/7.
Everybody lift your voices. Only Mewurati. Semi Chaiwa. And don't teach you why you're right. Come on. Soon as I see you run. Only Mewurati. Semi Chaiwa be new. You're right. Hey, into you, you're right. You are, you're right. Say a child will be more. Teach you, you're right. I ain't come for fata.
That's a nice tune there. Jiwaye, receive your praise, receive your glory. In a nutshell, all that is saying there is that I look at my life and everything therein, and I know that you are the one who have saved me, you have protected me and done everything for me. And as we see on this platform, you are the one who have seen to it that Nigeria hasn't happened to me. Yeah. There's Nana Manuel featuring Jacqueline Oforiwa Amanfo. you are enjoying that. Because we're lining ourselves up to wait for Mr. Olayomi Koike to hop in. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Let's say good morning to Pastor Salome Ado and Pastor Joseph Ado and all the family. I know that is half term, so everybody home, chilling out, right? Yeah, man.
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
At work.
at home,
On your smartphone.
Jack it, do it one more time. Hey.
To our dogs breaker. It's a good morning, Archie. Keep it going. We are down with Starr Radio UK. Oh my! Thank you very, very much. We love you to bits. Thank you very much for joining us as well. But we're going to be telling you more about what is happening in our own backyard, in our homes. My goodness, in Nigeria. Now, how many days more for the election? That is 8. Call it 7 plus some hours and then some minutes and counting the seconds down. But what do you think? Rufai has said that look, guys, the Kaduna State Governor Rufai on Thursday described the current scarcity of Naira notes as part of an alleged plot to disrupt the forthcoming general elections to ensure an interim government takes over. Is that the plot? Is that the conspiracy theory? Is that the plan or behind this change of the Naira? And what's going to be the head of that interim government? That's a question that on the lips of most people as well. Ganduje is saying that Buhari achieved nothing in 8 years, determined to destroy APC before leaving. Well, you want to make sure that they lose the election. Is that what they are trying to say? Oh my goodness. You know, there were some people who did say that. Well, it's alleged that the president's wife was part of those who were alluded, were alleged to be sabotaging the chances of Tinubu. But what do you think? Well, that's not going to be coming your way from there once we have Mr. Olayomi Koike on. But Rufai say he dares Buhari declare old Naira notes legal tender in Kaduna. So is it that every state has now got their own type of Naira that they are using? So which of the states are using the new Naira notes? Naira redesign. Kano governor says Buhari destroying APC. That's why APC democracy. Please take over Ojota Mile 12 amid tensions in Lagos. And some stories still making the rounds in Nigeria. Taraba aspirant sues APC Bolcha over contempt of court. A requisite credentials to give it to govern Ogun NNPP candidate boosts. Well, let's see what he has got. Let's see what he has got, and he reckons that he's got what it takes to be a governor. Well, still bringing you some more from there whilst we wait for Mr. Olayomi to hop in. The people behind the Naira redesign working for Peter Obi. Now this is proper conspiracy. You know, everybody is trying to find some fault so that the APC are saying that the president Buhari is just plotting to just destroy the APC. 8 years he's been in, he's not done anything. Now we have others saying that, well, you know, the redesign. Yeah, Peter Obi's people who did the redesign. Really, what role did he have to play in that? But well, more going to be coming your way as we have got Mr. Olayomi on the line now. But wherever you are, stay tuned and don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I think Yomi's line is frozen. Yomi, I think your image is frozen there. But hey, continue to enjoy the music.
Come on.
Your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Yes, I think we have Mr. Olayomi now, so we're going to be crossing over to our North London studios where he is this morning. All prepared, got some Naira that we are going to be changing here. We're going to go to the central bank here. Go and give it to the governor of the central bank here in London. Let's see, maybe. Oh, also, if you are here and you have got yourself some Naira, the old ones, how are you going to be changing if you are not going to Nigeria in the next few days or few months? What are you going to be doing? But well, you want to know more? We are here to bring you more and more and more. But let me take this opportunity to say massive good morning to the one and only White Lion, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Yomi, good morning.
Well, a very good morning to you, and I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Loud and clear, sir. Loud and clear.
Well, a very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning to the team, Frank. And a very fantastic program with the Property Hour. By Bossman himself, and also to all the sound engineer on Starr Radio UK. We are back again as usual. It is the final day of the week, and we normally say, thank God it's Friday. That's the way we look at it here, right here in UK. But I like to welcome each and every one of you once again. I say very good morning. Quite a lot to discuss, and we will wrap it up quickly so that we can look into what is currently going on. I have a running image in front of me right now, which indicate that there's a going protest, and I know they're speaking in our local language. We will connect to them in just about a few minutes, but let me come back again to you in the studio. There is quite a lot going on as we speak right now. Nigerians, in a week from now, Mr. Archie, will be going to the poll, but is that going to be realistic with what is going on? The APC are also complaining, and we will look into all that this morning. I'll come back again to you now in the studio.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Let's go straight because we pressed for time, and there are lots that we want to bring your way. So first of all, can you bring the audio that you wanted to put across? Is it possible?
So yeah, let me quickly. And this is ongoing right now. Multiple streaming from our media on the ground. Damaging of the poster is going on, but let's listen to this particular one that we have right now. Like I say, there's just so many things happening, but let me take you straight as we have it right now, with the sound coming as well. I will translate later. Okay, so what the woman is actually explaining there is that they have money, but they can't use that money. The money is not being used because it's been rejected as we speak right now. So that is part of what is going on as we speak right now as well. But one thing is, more Nigerians are becoming more angry with the current spark of thing that is going on, and that is actually going on in somewhere known as in the Abeokuta Expressway, literally in between the border of Ogun State as well. Let's listen a little bit more to her. So they're complaining that this sufferness is just too much for them. They are not able to cope with it anymore. Let's listen one more time before I come to you again in the studio. Okay, so why is it that it is now that the Yoruba are also contesting as Bola Tinubu, and that is when these bringing of a new currency is currently taking place? Why now is the question. So that actually is is happening. Let me now take you again to another area where, as I said, there's another more protest going on, and this is the audio from that. So in this footage that you cannot see, they are literally removing all the poster that belongs to the governor of Ogun State, Abiodun, and that is going on as well. So let me take you again to Ibadan, where the governor of Oyo State was literally blocked from not going as he was moving out this morning from his office. So this is all that is happening, and likewise, almost the same area, but this time around is not the Yoruba people that call it protest or a rally, but in Ojota also, it was a total shutdown, and it is now confrontation between the military and also the Nigerians in that particular axis of Lagos State. So that is the spark of things going on, with the multiple reportage coming all the way from our sister broadcast back home in Nigeria this morning.
Wow, listeners, today, as I said, is the 17th. So let's say we've got 7 days and some hours and some minutes and some seconds counting down to the big day. But would it happen? Would it happen? That is a question on the lips of most people. With the agitation that is going on at the moment, people, virtually not getting their own money. They're not getting their own money. And when you're going to buy something, you cannot actually use the old currency because people don't want to accept it. Though the president went on the state media to make a recorded statement saying that, look, we will extend the usage of the old currency. That is it the 50 or the 200? Yes, naira, until a couple of months, giving them a couple of months. But the 1,000 and the 500, you need to take it to the central bank. And we did ask the question yesterday, how many central banks are there? And they say that every state has got a central bank. But how many people have got the 1,000 and the 500? How can they present it to the central bank for them to actually get that money? And are people going to be checked how you got your money? Well. Now, El-Rufai is saying that, he reckons that they are going to just get on with it. They are just going to make sure that his state, they just use the same old currency. So what is all that?
Well, in the last couple of weeks, we have seen between El-Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State, and also Ganjude, that are now speaking out. It seems that, according to both the governor of Kano State and the governor of Kaduna State, that there is now evidence that this particular government is trying to destabilize the election that is about to take place. So when we look at what Ganjude, the governor, is saying, he says, and I quote, "Buhari has achieved nothing in 8 years, determined to destroy APC before leaving." This is actually coming from those that are close to President Muhammadu Buhari, and the question is how did we get to where internal problem is now happening between both the Kano State and likewise the president. Kano Governor Abdullahi Ganduje yesterday said President Muhammadu Buhari did not achieve anything throughout his 8 years in the office, and is now determined to ruin the All Progressive Congress APC before leaving the office. Let's look at what El-Rufai is also saying this morning. Quite a lot is going on as we are following all this development, as the riot is spreading quickly, both in Ogun State and Lagos State. Rivers State was also, I'm getting reported coming from Rivers State that is also coming. El-Rufai, as we know, is a very, and we see if we can get a soundtrack of what El-Rufai, the governor the governor of Kaduna State, is also saying this morning, and according to report. El-Rufai also believed that it seems that there is going to be a coup. We've been talking about this for some time, but this is what he had to say in an interview he granted. El-Rufai had to say this.
On behalf of the Kaduna State government, I wish to assure you that none of you will lose the money you have in old notes. Let no artificial or illegal deadline threaten you, whether you live in towns.
Okay, let me explain what El-Rufai is saying there. El-Rufai has literally now confronted the President Muhammadu Buhari, coming out yesterday, after the president spoke at about 7 o'clock in the morning to Nigerians. El-Rufai says, as citizens in Kaduna State, you still have the right to continue spending that money regardless of whatever the president is saying, because they believe that the president now is not listening to the rule of law. But this same rule of law was not listened to when the court actually says Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that was kidnapped and rendition back to Nigeria, has been acquitted of the 15 count. Also, the court also says Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho should be paid back some money for the assassination and the damage of his property to the tune of 20 billion. It now seems that the system is fighting back within the internal. Let's listen more to what El-Rufai had to say.
Villages or in isolated rural communities do not feel stampeded to deposit your old notes into the banks. Hold on to them. Continue to use them as legal tender as ordered by the Supreme Court of Nigeria.
Okay, so he says continue to use that legal tender, which Buhari says is no longer a legal tender. If you have such with you, please take it back to the to the CBN when you have. And we have been seeing Nigerians obeying. Yesterday we saw in the northern part of Nigeria, somebody took 50 million old naira notes. And when he was asked, why have you actually left it too late? He said, well, I still have more in my warehouse up to the tune of 1 billion naira. Starr Radio UK, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, as it is 17th day, as is now a couple of more days before the election. This time next week, we will just be under 24 hours to go into that election. Is it now that Buhari wants to scuttle, as the Afenifere says, do not attempt to bring an interim government? We will not allow that. We will reject that. But the president says, I just don't want the money to be used for vote buying. That is why I have recolored the money, and whoever is still having that large sum of money, take it to the CBN, and that is the only way you can change the money now.
Well, listeners, interesting times. Now, when he was running for his presidency, his second term or even the first term, when they had monies, we were talking about the fact that a whole bullion van went to Tinubu's house, was in Tinubu's house. The other time, Tinubu was saying that, well, the driver missed the way to where he was going, so they had to come to his house for direction. I don't know whether direction to his bedroom or his warehouse. Not sure about that. But for some of them thinking that now this is something that has been going on and the president is aware of it and maybe have taken advantage of that, and seeing that this time around the people are going to use the same thing, his own people are going to use the same thing to outwit others, he's saying that, well, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I've changed the money and this is the order. But looking at the states, we have Lagos states. I don't know what Lagos states are going to do, and I don't know what other states are going to do. So if their leaders are giving different instructions, do you mean to say that if somebody who is a trader who has to travel to the north to maybe go and buy yam, or maybe go and buy cattle from there to bring to the south, what money, what currency are they going to be trading in?
Well, that is if they have the currency in hand in the first place. I mean, if you're traveling to Kaduna, you are likely to spend the old naira note. But as we speak right now in Lagos State, I've seen, from few petrol stations, that a video that has been sent to me, those petrol stations are rejecting, the old naira note, but even the new naira note is not available. I mean, you can do bank transfer, which is exactly what the system wants, a cashless society. But the network is sometimes difficult to operate. So that means that, even if I wanted to buy, just a slice of bread, which we do here. You can easily just, under £1, you can still allow your car to go through. But in Nigeria, those selling the bread have now got at the back of their bank details. So do you now send I don't know, about 1,000 naira, which is just about almost £1. £1 today, £1 today is about almost 935 naira. So if I'm going to buy the bread, then you would have to pay charges to the bank as well. So the bank is taking charges from both sides. So as you send the money, I am paying 35 naira on top of the 1,000 naira. The seller as well has to pay 35 naira to the bank as well. This is a chaotic situation. And the question, I saw a video from Libya, and the woman was saying that in the last 5 years, they have been spending the whole Libya money in the old one and the new one parallel to each other. Not just one domination, we're talking about 3 domination as well. The question Nigerians are asking is, why now, towards the election, why not just allow those 2 currencies to run parallel, which is the reason why they've gone to the court. Buhari rejected that. He says, I will give extension of 60 days, to the 200 naira, but I will not tolerate you to continue to spend the 500 naira note and the 1,000. 2 governors now are adamant, and they are fighting back to say, in their state, you will continue to spend that money, and it's still a legal tender.
Wow. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK. The question is, who is in charge of Nigeria now? That's the question. Is it the president? Is it the governors of the various states? Or is it the governor of the CBN? Who is actually in charge? Will the election hold 8 days on? Or 7 days plus on? Well. A new poll, opinion poll has shown that have come out to say that Tinubu is now going to be winning the election. I don't know where, but there is the Nigeria Human Rights Community poll that is saying that Tinubu is going to win the election. I don't know how true, how that is, especially when he is also crying, shouting that with everything that is going on. Because if Nigerians are seeing what is happening now, the pain that they are going through just to access their own money, then why would they want to vote for that same government that did that for them? Yomi.
Well, you're quite right. As a different poll will be coming up with different, statistics. Yes, the Human Rights Community poll is tipping that Tinubu, will go through with the presidential election, according to, the update. A new poll that has been conducted by the Nigerian Human Rights Community, NHRC, consisting of 134 organizations, has tipped the presidential candidate of the All Progressive, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, to win the February 25th, 2023 general election if all goes as planned. But the question then is, the group at the briefing addressed is Secretary General Taiwo Adeleye in Lagos yesterday, where it released its poll. Also, a lot of people have also suggested that even the poll that is favoring Peter Obi seems to be tickling, and the reason for that is, some of those that are putting this poll have not been honest, because some of them have probably had one engagement before this election with, these presidential aspirants. So, but what we do know is, it was released yesterday, and it's projected that Tinubu will win based on the analysis of the preference of 19,000 person that is research poll. Remember, 19,000 is just a very small number when you talk about a whole country with 206 million. 19,000, I think when I look at some of my listeners on Star Radio UK, I guess we can do a poll among us, and we can definitely say who wants a Yoruba nation, and be rest assured every one of them is going to say they want a Yoruba nation, but that does not literally mean that every Yoruba person around the world subjected to a Yoruba nation.
Very true, very true. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, call it 11:30, and it is the update from Nigeria that we are bringing your way. Now, with the fighting that has erupted in some areas in the popular Lagos Ikorodu Expressway in Lagos State over the scarcity of the new Naira notes and the hardship policy that has been thrown, Nigerians have been thrown into. What are the police doing? Are they being just careful not to? Because people are angry. People are angry, and virtually think that their lives are being, brought to an end. So what are the police doing, and how is it on the ground?
Has gone to that area. I mean, I was listening to, and that is the particular area where twice that the Yoruba have done a rally. Ojota is a very, very important axis. It's just like the entering into the Lagos state. And it also has, the Ganifawa Emi, is an activist, a lawyer that was also, eventually, fighting for the human right of so many Nigerians. So it's a very, very key strategic area. It's also, leading to a Mile 12 market that is a very, very important market that has been around. So whenever rally or protest always comes up, it comes up within that axis as well. But I can say that, according to fighting erupt in some areas on the popular Lagos-Ikorodu Expressway, Lagos State, over the scarcity of the New Naira note, and the Archie policy has thrown to Nigeria this morning. This is going on in Mile 12, K2 and Ojota area, and the express took to the road. But reinforcement has gone there, according to David Odonye, the public Benjamin Odonye, I apologize, the public relation officer for the Lagos State. We know that it is not just in that area anymore now. It is springing up also to other states, and the question still boils back into the new Naira note. Even Jigawa is saying that in their state, the old Naira note is still a legal tender, and you can continue to spend it.
Now let's talk about the insecurity, then I can hand over to you. Information coming through is saying that now herdsmen killed over 654 attacks on Benue community in 11 years. That is the number of people who have been killed. Now, the forum of Tioshin Academics in Borno State has stated that over 600 people in the ethnic extraction have been killed in 54 attacks in 10 council wards of Makurdi and West local government area of the state in separate communities. Now the question is, how secure are the people there, and are they going to even go out to go and vote at all?
Well, Benue State has been one of the most hit part of the country, not just Benue State, but because it has a very, very close border, up to the other side as well. And, and I'm just taking you back to 2021 report. Governor Autumn's attack House of Reps call for investigation of claims by the Fulani National Movement. This was the audio clip of 2021, and you can imagine 3 years down the line, it is still the same problem in that particular area.
Of the nation. Nigeria's House of Representatives has asked the Department of State Services and the Nigerian Police to investigate the attacks on Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State and the claims of responsibility and threats allegedly attributed to Fulani National Movement. The lawmakers called on Nigerians to be law-abiding and keep faith in indivisibility, unity, sovereignty of the nation.
The lawmakers are worried by the inflammatory statements attributed to one Omar Shehu and the Fulani National Movement, who declared publicly their intention to kill Governor Samuel Otom.
I mean, this
taking note of the immediate deployment.
This is the state of things. If a sitting governor is being threatened, this audio clip that we are playing right now is far back to 2021, and you will expect that the President General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, should have at least done something. But up till today, Governor Otom is still facing similar problem. This is Governor Otom also speaking in some few, almost 2021. Let's listen a little bit for 30 seconds.
As terrorist organization, and they have gone for that to form Meyati Allah, Cattle Hore, Meyati Allah, Cattle Breeders, Meyati Allah, this one, Funam, that one. And federal government is romancing with them. And federal government comes out to defend them. Anything time something happens to them, but when they cause pains in the lives of other people, federal government will keep quiet. Federal government have gone ahead to ban iPod. Why can't they ban? What did iPod do that they went ahead and banned them? This one that Fulanis are taking over everywhere under the watch of the presidency, and they're not saying anything. What is the meaning of that? What are they trying to say? When you talk, they will come after you. Some people are afraid in this country to talk because if they come, EFCC will come after them. ICPC will come after them. Security agencies will come after them. They did that to me. And I went to court against them and I won. They did that to me. They tried to impeach me.
And that is, Governor Autumn, and nothing seems to change. So the question then is, that you were asking is, are they going to vote in favor of the APC in Benue State? It is going to be 50-50, because already in the last 8 years, Benue State, under this presidency, have neglected, citizens under the attack of the Fulani terrorists killing innocent in that particular state.
Wow. Now, listen, it's 11:35. Now, let me, Mobola G. Abdullahi says, good morning, Mr. Archie, and good morning, my brother, Olayomi Koiki, the king media of Yoruba land. God bless you. Jumat Mubarak to your team. All right, then. Thank you very much. Now, just digressing a bit. Now, should it happen that the APC, any government comes in, so that we know that it's not that the president, so Tinubu, let's say Tinubu wins, he's not from the north. What do you think is going to happen to the Fulani people? Or let's say Peter Obi wins, what is going to happen to them? What do you reckon?
Well, the job of any government is to make sure that lives and property of its citizens or our citizens are well protected. When Buhari was coming in, he guaranteed that he will protect whether you voted him or not. He will make sure that, all Nigerians are well looked after. The economy has become drained. It's about almost 22% in terms of inflation. Nigeria still remains the capital poverty of the world, the number 6 when it comes to the global terrorism index. Should any of the three of the political party wins, after the election next week, then they would have a lot to deal with. We will have to deal with not just the economy that is already gone in drain. They would also have to deal with the insecurity that has also sparked around the whole country. We do know that each one of them has, representative, from the north. So let's take a look at Tinubu. Tinubu is playing, the Muslim ticket that a lot of people have rejected. His candidacy, is a Muslim. Himself is a Muslim. The vice president is a Muslim. Shetima has harbored one of the, criminal terrorists in his house. And it was during the Shetima that we saw bring back our girls that were, eventually kidnapped in Borno State. Let's take a look at Peter Obi. Peter Obi is taking Dati as his vice president also from the north. So again, maybe they can use their influence, to suppress, these reasons. What is the reason why we are having terrorism activities in Nigeria? And when you look at Atiku himself is a Fulani man, and also with the with Okowa, coming from the southeast. So it is a bit balanced, but Kwankwaso is still the former governor of Kano State. He has a big stake, and he might be splitting the vote between Atiku and Tinubu in the north. Are we going to see a rerun should the election go ahead, or are we going to see an inconclusive, or are we going to see what we can call the unexpected turbulence after the election next week, Saturday?
Well, what do you expect and what do you want to see? Peru said, good morning, everyone. Peru, I hope you are doing very, very well. Thank you very much for joining us. It is Star Radio UK. 11:38 the time. Mr. Olayomi Koiki in North London studios. I'm Archie here in the South studios. We're bringing you updates from Nigeria. At this juncture, let me go to Yomi for him to bring you the rest of the stories and what is happening on the social media platform as well. Over to you, Yomi.
Thank you so much. And again, this is the Friday edition of the Star Radio UK. The most important pressure that is going on in Nigeria right now is the Naira scarcity. And it's bringing a lot of confusion. Protest has already erupted in Rivers State over the Naira scarcity. Naira redesign is a plot to scuttle election and install interim government. This is coming from those that are closer to the to the government than some of us that are just sitting almost 6,000 miles away from Nigeria. This is coming from El Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State. Professor, the leader of the social cultural group, Afenifere, have actually said, and I quote, that President Buhari should not attempt to install interim government and force that on Nigerians. A lot of people have said that the election should go ahead, but those that are also saying that the election is not the only way, it cannot solve the problem. Better days aren't coming soon. despite disappointment after Buhari's address is also one of the headlines. Taraba aspirant is suing APC over contented of court. And likewise, let's take a look at the other headlines and then we go straight. The UK government is still saying that there are fears of post-election violence. So already, there will be a lot of contingency from different embassies, especially the American, the US, to see, what will be the outcome of what is going to be one of the most fought election that we've ever seen. And likewise, one of the most defending part of the indigenous people from the Yorubas and the Middle Belt and the Biafrans that are saying that whatever it takes, elections should not be holding right now. Dissolution of Nigeria should be on the table. But the UK says that the UK fears post-election violence in Nigeria, and again is reinstating that politicians will be banned with visa. The Yorubas are saying that that is more than enough. That is not enough, from the UK government, and the American government to say that we are going to ban the politician. I mean, if they can't come to UK, they can travel to any other countries, because the UK doesn't have what it takes to stop politicians from traveling to Dubai or any other country. But the UK believes that that is going to be a deterrent for election violence or post-election. So we will continue to monitor that. And likewise, Tinubu asks governors to ignore Buhari's order and enforce use of the old Naira note nationwide. This is now becoming Tinubu versus President Muhammadu Buhari. Tinubu asks governors to ignore President. I mean, he's not yet the president, but he's already giving orders as a president, and that is going to be a very, very big one. Disregard Buhari's directive. All old Naira notes remain legal tender in Kaduna, El Rufai declared. The governor has challenged the mighty of Buhari-led federal government in a statewide broadcast that he gave in the night. Buhari did his own in the morning, and he has already challenged Buhari as well. As the Biafra are also preparing, for sit down at home, Simon Ekpa continue, just as the Yorubas as well continue as well. Also, as the Yorubas are moving forward, we have been told again to disregard anything coming out of Chief Mrs. Moduponitiri that she has actually come to destroy, and also working for some of those politicians, according to Professor Adebanji Akintoye, that anything that's got to do with her should be totally disregarded because she has come to scuttle the movement. Federal government is trending, and as you can tell, the reason why federal government is trending is it seems that as the citizens are battling with the federal government on the street of almost every part of Nigeria, the governors are also battling with the same federal government. The First Lady of Nigeria is also trending this morning, and likewise, we now look at one or two things on the social media. Simon Ekpa is still trending at about 35,000 tweets. Remember that some Nigerians have forged what we can call, it's quite to the extent of forging the government of Finland letter to say that they are going to arrest Simon Ekpa. But it was a good thing that the Finland government came out quickly to debunk such, and if anybody has come across such letter, please debunk that as well. Also, Simon Ekpa has actually responded back again to the Onhaise Indigbo proposed for peaceful summit. And this is what he had to say in a statement that came out today. Our attention has been drawn to the proposal made by the Onhaise Indigbo for peace summit, where they claim they will invite Simon Ekpa to be part of the peace summit in Nigeria. And likewise, as we know, bear with me, let's see if we can get it out from here, because that is something that we can read out, and then I'm going to come back straight to you in the studio. Once again, this is Star Radio UK, and it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So again, it seems that more of those leaders are now trying to engage in what we can call a peace. And yes, the remaining part is we are putting Onhaise on a notice not to waste their time, but to start preparing to bring something to the table for the formation of Biafra transitional government. If not, all they have the interest of Indigbo at heart. Our main priority is to release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, preventing Nigeria from conducting election in Biafra territory. I will never be part of any meeting that is not to discuss on the date and how to conduct the referendum for the Biafra people. And when the time comes for such discussion, it will be in Finland. I am not coming to Nigeria. My next trip to Africa will be to Biafra. Ohainze must stop being afraid of the terrorist Fulani government and speak like men. We will drag Ohainze to the freedom this year. Just as the Yoruba continue their engagement as well in a peaceful manner, as has been said by Professor Adebanjo Akintoye, that in Yoruba land, election is not a solution, and the last thing to now be talking about is to bring to the dialogue as well, where in that letter that was sent to the president in August, remember that that letter contained to say that we can have a dialogue somewhere outside Nigeria where we can discuss the future of Nigeria and the future of the indigenous people. Star Radio UK, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, and I'll slightly come back now to you in the studio to wind the program down. But remember that the weekend is still on Star Radio UK, where you can listen to all the programs. But for now, let me come back to you, Mr. Archie.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki in North London Studios. Let me acknowledge Aziz Bedasarik. He says, good morning, brother Koiki, Mr. Archie, and the rest of the team. We salute you, sir, and thank you very much to all of you, those of you on the YouTube, and many of you there, and those of you on the Facebook, and all the sister broadcast stations, platforms that we are broadcasting on. We actually acknowledge you, and we thank you so much for what you do. Now, Yomi, just two things, and then we can run up. Now, I would think that it would be very foolish for Samuel Ekpa to travel to Nigeria. No way will I ever advise him to do so. He should never. I know he's been on the program before. I know he has listened as well. I don't think it's wise. No matter what, even if they say President Buhari is meeting, he should never go. Never. Unless he's going with the UN Secretary General. That is it. Fine.
Well, even some Yorubas and some Biafra don't trust the UN as much of that, even though we can't say that. But because the Deputy General Secretary, according to what we know, is from Nigeria and from the Fulani extract as well.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
So the only way it's got to be to have such meeting in the UN building in New York.
Well, listeners, it's interesting time. What has MFL said so far about the Naira? And it has it come up to say anything?
I saw him yesterday, and he stated that the bank should not take any more money. Anybody that has large deposit should be taking it to the CBN. So he's still adamant, following the same procedure as his boss, the President Muhammadu Buhari, that is currently at Addis Ababa for the AU meeting.
This is a total confusion that is going on. My goodness. Well, listeners, continue to enjoy the program, but Yomi will have to take leave. Over the weekend, what activities are there planned?
Well, as usual, over the weekend, the Global Directorate have been having their meeting. I think it's going to be about almost 100 and something that is going to be going on. A lot of more awareness, engagement, and we're going to be monitoring the situation on the ground. And we always say to those on the ground, your safety and security is important. But in a situation like this, you never know what Nigeria can happen to you. So we pray that Nigeria doesn't happen to anyone before we come back on Monday morning. But Star Radio UK has got the weekend for you from all the programs running through. I will be joining again on Monday by God's grace. But for now, I say have a very good morning and bye for now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, and we'll catch up later.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Well, listeners, it is the Star Radio UK Friday edition of the morning show. We say it here, your weekend starts from here. And that's exactly what is going to be happening. So, we're going to continue with the program, but I'm going to bring you some lovely tune. I'm torn between bringing you Which Way Nigeria, or bringing you my other favorite tune that I've fallen in love with from Jeanette, that says Orele Demi. So my nation. Now, so which one do you want? Okay, let me bring you Orele Demi. And we'll come back. So stay tuned, don't you go away. But for everyone, those in the middle belt, for the Yoruba, for the Igbos as well. I know you all calling for some way, somehow. Let's have a referendum. Let's see what our people think and what our people want, and let us just live by it. But we see that the federal government seem to be adamant about that. But what do you think about that? So let's all enjoy this song, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned. Don't you go away. Star Radio UK.
tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o. Èmi fòmìnira fórílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Ọmọ aládé ni wá látòde ọ̀run. Adé orí òkè kì í ṣẹgbẹ́ wọn. Akíkandìyẹ má gbógbé rẹ̀ fún kọ̀lọ̀kọ̀lọ̀. Ọmọ Oòduà dìde bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ bàbá rẹ̀. Èmi ọ̀pọ̀ ológo aráyé. Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o. Èmi fòmìnira fórílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mi ò polongo fáráyé. Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yo. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o. Èmi fòmìnira fórílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Ìlú tán lọ́rùn fẹ́ lọ lọ́rùn yọ. Èyí tó yàn ló tún ṣe lógo. Bàbá fẹ́ wá, ó tún yọ wá. Wọ́n ṣe wá lógo, ó tún wá fálùmọ́ ní sí. Èmi yóò polongo fáráyé. Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o. Èmi fòmìnira fórílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mi ò polongo fáráyé. Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yo. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o. Èmi fòmìnira fórílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá.
Okay, yes, Orílẹ̀-èdè mi by Jeanette.
Èmi ò sọ
But another group of people want me to bring you another tune there.
ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni.
Okay, there's a which way Nigeria, which way Nigeria. So let me bring you some review of that and then we'll move on. But I hope that you enjoyed that tune. It is Friday. You know what? Friday and my mind day and I take things easy. So I hope that you also taking things easy there. But enjoy this one from the late Sonny Okuso. He did ask the question, which way Nigeria?
Which way to go?
I love my fatherland.
Oh yeah,
I want to know
yes I want to know.
which way Nigeria is heading.
This is Star Radio. This is Star Radio UK.
Which way Nigeria? Which way to go?
Archie on Star Radio. Nobody does it.
Oh yeah,
I want to know
I want to know.
This is Star Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
We still find it hard to start. How long
The
shall
best
we
radio
wait
show.
before we reach the promised land?
This is Star Radio
Let's save
UK.
Nigeria, so Nigeria won't
Star
die.
Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Which way?
Which way Nigeria?
Tell me.
Which way to go?
Okay, so have I pleased my audience? Yes, I would say so. I balanced the equation, right? Okay then. Now let's move on to what is happening. So what do you think? I think by this time we'll have a few hours for the election to commence. But the question is, with the Naira scarcity, with the federal president, the president of Nigeria, giving orders, and then presidential candidates giving counter orders, governors of various states giving counter orders. Now, who is in charge? There seems to be so much chaos. I remember back in the time that we were looking at the insecurity and we said that with everything that seemed to be happening, which it was time for the military to step in. But this is what individuals and group of people and governors, various high-profile persons have come out to say that, look, we don't think that is the way forward. We wouldn't want anything of the sort to happen. We wouldn't want any interim government or anything of the sort. We want elections and we want to move on. Others are saying we don't want no elections at all. We just want a referendum to determine our fate. If our people want us to leave, we leave. But Sonny Okuno says, which way? So everybody's pulling. What is going to happen in the next, call it 7 days, some hours, some minutes, and the seconds counting down? What do you think? Let me hear from you. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio, okay? But now, 4 minutes to the top of the hour. Let me announce the lines open. If you want to call in, feel free to do so. Now call us on 0208-133-2257 or 58. 0208-133-2257 or 58. Now, if you happen to be in the US, Canada, the Caribbean area, it is 0017183032737. 0017183032737. You know what? You can text or WhatsApp us. It's 07539661744. 07539661744. Our Twitter handle is at Starr Radio UK and email address is info@starradiouk.com. Our money man is a bit under the weather, so today we will let him rest. And then he can get himself together, and then next week he will be on. So at 12:30 we'll bring the curtains down for the end of the program. So whatever you are or wherever you are, just continue to stay glued to your sets. Now let's move on to some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. And now on the African continent, the Americans are saying that they have managed to kill 5 Al-Shabaab by an American in Somalia. The story says the U.S. military announced on Thursday that it had killed 5 Shabaab fighters in a strike in a remote region of Somalia. This country is waging a major offensive against. The group of radical Islamists affiliated with Al-Qaeda. Now, the operation conducted Wednesday near Bakadwin was conducted at the request of Somali government, said the U.S. Military Command for Africa in a statement. According to the first elements, the strike killed 5 Shabaab fighters. He adds, in early February, the heads of states of the Horn of Africa announced their desire to give a final impetus to completely liberate Somalia from radical Islamist Shabaab. Now, the Somali army and local militias have regained control of parts of the territory in recent months, aided by U.S. and African Union airstrikes. But the jihadist group, which has been fighting the government since 2007, remains firmly entrenched in large rural areas and carries out deadly attacks in Somalia and neighboring Kenya. So the question is, how do they get them? How do they attack them? How can they stop them? I mean, they live in communities, right? They have their own communities. They have their wives, they have their children, their families with them. So how do you, it's difficult for you to penetrate and say that I bombed this whole area, because if we know that this is where they are geographically they are located, then we can say there should be a sweep, a quick one, bomb the whole place up, if that is the way forward, and then we all move on. But hey, is that what is happening? I'm not very sure about that. But well, it is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Mali begins crackdown on Shisha after grace period expired. The authorities in Mali have begun a crackdown. Oh my goodness. But they do it here, okay? But why is Mali doing so? The authorities in Mali have begun a crackdown on hookah smoking after giving a grace period to shisha bars to adjust to a ban. The country's anti-drug agency says it has carried out dozens of arrests in the capital Bamako and seized water pipes after the 6-month moratorium expired. Now, bars where small groups of smokers, primarily young men, hang out to chat and puff on hookahs have been flourished in Bamako in recent years, but their days became numbered when the junta-dominated government on August 15 announced a surprise ban. It warned that shisha smokers will be liable to a prison term of 1 to 10 days and a fine of 300 to 10,000 CFA CFA francs, and that is equivalent to 0.45 to $15. Now, the Central Narcotics Office, in a Facebook posting, said there had been vigorous raids by its agents in Bamako on Tuesday night, culminating in about 50 individuals in prison and a large amount of seized materials. It published photos of young men and women being taken away into the back of a pickup truck and a picture of a pile of water pipes. The grace period given by the authorities for importers, distributors, sellers, and consumers of shisha in Mali is over, the OCS said. The ban has divided opinion in Mali. Of course it will. The country is overwhelmingly Muslim, and interpretation of Islam are generally unfavorable to cigarettes and to shisha. Is it? But it also a secular nation that tolerates alcohol even if consumption is limited to certain public places, and most shops and restaurants do not serve it. Now, shisha or hawkers typically burn tobacco flavored with fruit or provide a sweetened taste. The smoke is inhaled and it's through a long rubber tube, passing through water to cool it down. Shisha is also the term sometimes used for the tobacco product. A working group of the World Health Organization warned in 2017 about the danger of shisha smoking. So is it for the health advantages or disadvantages? That's why these people are embarking on this path. It will divide them greatly, because I was thinking that their concentration should have been on the insurgents, the terrorists who are operating in the country, to get rid of them, rather than going on to be banning shisha or shish that the people smoke. I don't know. I don't get it. I've never smoked that before. I've never actually had an interrogation with anybody or asked questions about it before. But now that I've seen it, I'm going to find out more about it. I don't smoke tobacco. I'm not saying that if you are doing that, somebody will tell you that there's nowhere in the Bible that is stated that you shouldn't smoke. Yes, I know that. There is nowhere. But it's only said that your body is the temple of God, and therefore make sure you don't put things in it that will... You know, so at times, even just digressing a bit, when you eat too much, it's a sin. Because you are endangering your body. If you eat too much fat, you are endangering. So you get it. So that's where I'm coming from. But what do you think? What do you think about all this that is going on there? I mean, should the leadership concentrate on insecurity in the country, or concentrate on getting people to stop smoking shish or shisha or whatever thing that they've been smoking? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, in one of the African countries, we can see development going on like no man's business, is Rwanda. Now, at times we have people castigating the leader of Rwanda, saying that he's hard-handed and he does that and he cracks down on his people or opponent views and stuff like that. But at times I look at things like that and I think that if like I've been saying in the past few, if the actions or the policies of the government, whether it be military, whether it be a civilian or democracy, whether the person is hard-handed or whatever, is delivering for the majority of the people, I say let's praise God, let's go on with it. Because at least the basic things are people can say. That's why I always cite an example of Libya when Muammar al-Gaddafi the late was in charge. Now, people were saying, oh, he was cracking down on some opposing views and people who were, some communities, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But you see, majority, the country was developed and he was doing everything. They're talking about the fact that even women didn't work in that particular part of the world. People were giving money. You have enough money from the oil, and then they were taking good care of themselves. But what do we see? We talk about democracy and people come, they rip all your resources, destroy everything, your system, just ruin everything, steal, and then they just go away. And we say, you know what, it's democracy. We wait for the next 8 years or 4 years and we'll go vote them out. My goodness. What kind of democracy is that? when people cannot be held accountable. Well. But in this case, with what he is doing, Rwanda ICT Ministry has announced that a satellite service provided by SpaceX will be piloted in 500 schools in Rwanda after it launched on the 22nd. Its launch on the 22nd of February. The project is part of a larger initiative to provide high-speed internet access to underserved areas in the country. The satellite-based internet soon to be provided by billionaire Elon Musk high-speed satellite internet venture is expected to give students and teachers in Rwanda access to educational resources and digital tools. The program is expected to begin this February. Now, this will be a big role in improving education, especially for a school like that. It is not connected to reliable internet. Something good for the people. So, you catch my drift? All right then. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 6 minutes past the top of the hour, and it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, a final story from that front before we go to Ghana. Now, top diplomats of the African Union member states met 2 days for the 42nd ordinary session of the Executive Council of the Union. Now, speaking in the AU headquarters, Musa Faki Mahamat, the chairperson of the AU Commission, pointed to progress achieved when evaluating the first decade of the AU's development Agenda 2063. He also acknowledged remaining challenges. In order to meet the needs of the African people, the AU has been looking for long-term solutions by establishing institutions and increasing the production capacity of food and medicine industries. Now, currently, the construction of the African Center for Disease Control, the CDC headquarters, is nearing completion. The hosting country of the headquarters of the African Medicine Agency has been selected and establishment is progressing steadily. Another key issue was implementing the Continental Trade Zone. Indeed, if 54 AU member states have signed the CFTA agreement as of November 2022, 44 had deposited their instruments of ratification. The United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, acting Executive Secretary Antonio Pedro, called on African countries to exert concerted efforts towards the realization of the continental free trade area. Now, we cannot even travel and trade amongst ourselves the way, so that I'm just here and I can just or I'm in Ghana or in Nigeria and I can just send goods straight to, let's say, even the next door, Benin. The impediments that you go through before it gets there. So you ask yourself the question, is it that colonial masters are still holding us by our umbilical cords and therefore pulling it, and then at times it hurts and then we have to just toe their lines? Well, we have 3 French-speaking countries who were former colonies of France, who are saying that no, we want to have our own, we want to do our own thing, namely Burkina Faso, Mali, and Guinea, and they are doing their own thing. I pray that whatever they are doing succeeds for them, so that people can know that you don't still have to rely on the colonial masters to make it. Well, I know they're going to be fomenting lots of troubles against them though, but hey, what do you think? All right then, now let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds. Now, three truck drivers transporting vegetables from Boko to Accra have been shot dead and 4 others injured. What happened? Was it a robbery or what? Now, 3 drivers transporting pepper and tomatoes from Boko to Accra have reportedly been shot dead, with several others sustaining injuries. This was after unknown gunmen opened fire on the cargo trucks at a spot 20 kilometers from the town. Now, some of the injured are receiving treatment at the Archie Teaching Hospital. Survivors of the shooting, which occurred on Tuesday, showed some news network their bullets raiding vehicle and recounted their ordeal. And it's quite a scary one. The stand drivers say they decided to drive out of Boko with their perishable goods after the police refused to grant them escort out of the community. These cargo vehicles, one driven from the scene of the shooting in Boko to Akumadan and Swami in Kumasi, bear evidence of what took place on Tuesday. Bullets holes on the windscreen, side and rear of the vehicle shows aggressive, spontaneous shooting. Now, who were perpetrating the act? Who are involved in that? Well, because we had information coming through that, they think that some terrorist activities are taking place, or people have invaded the country through the northern border there, the upper part of the country. Are they the ones committing these crimes? Wow. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 11 minutes past 12. Now, judgment of Anas 25 million Ghana cedis defamation suit against Ken Japan deferred to March 15. The High Court in Accra, presided over by Justice Eric Ban, has deferred its judgment in the case in which ace investigative journalist Anas Aramreyao Anas has sued Kennedy Japan for defamation to March the 15th. The Asin Central Member of Parliament is facing a 25 million Ghana cedi suit from Anas over some comments that the MP allegedly made against the investigative journalist in public after airing his investigative piece number 12, which exposed some rots in Ghana football. Now, Justice Eric Ban, a justice of the Court of Appeal, who is sitting with additional responsibility as High Court judge, had earlier fixed Thursday, February 16, after the parties had ended their testimonies. Now, some information coming through said Mutala Inusa reported that the judgment was deferred because the parties failed to file their written address by December 6, 2022, deadline given by the court. They instead filed them at a later date, hence the decision of the court to defer to allow the judge ample time to write his judgment. Coming away from Starr Radio UK. And I say good afternoon to Shamsuddin Oladipupo. I hope you are doing very well. I say God bless Yoruba Nation. Yoruba Nation we want. God bless you all, sir. And God bless you too, my brother. I hope you are doing very, very well. Okay. 12 minutes past 12. Let's take a quick commercial break. We come back and we look at some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been
that?
told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of digging the hole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'm bringing the time now to exactly 16 minutes past the top of the hour. That means 16 minutes past 12. Okay, so we've got about another 14 minutes to bring the program to close. But if you call in, yes, I'll be able to take your call. Yes, pertaining to anything that we discuss. What do you think about all that? It's coming your way. Starr Radio UK. Now let's move on to this part of the world and other parts of the world to see what is happening there. Now, the French energy giant EDF has posted worst ever results. Why? The energy prices may have jumped to unprecedented heights, but for France state-controlled power company EDF, 2022 was a miserable year with record annual losses of 17.9 billion. That is equivalent to 16 billion pounds. A price cap of energy for French consumers hit EDF profits hard, but so did the enforced closure of many of its nuclear power stations for repairs. The losses are the third biggest in French corporation history and the worst for more than 20 years. Now, EDF's debt has spiraled to 64.5 billion. Now, the losses are in marked contrast to EDF's UK-based business, which made an underlying profit of 1.12 billion, supplying electricity and gas to 5 million households. So you see it again? Now, in France, President Emmanuel Macron's government responded to Russia's invasion of Ukraine by imposing a tariff shield for consumer, limiting energy companies to only a 4% rise in 2022, followed by 15% in 2023, keeping inflation lower than in other European countries. But it meant that the EDF had to sell power to French consumers at a loss. While UK consumer paid far more for energy, EDF has around 80% of France's electricity market. The French industry has not seen such poor results since 2002, when Vivendi, Universal and France Telecom both posted losses above 20 billion for the previous year. That EDF has never before reported such a large loss. The 2022 results were significantly affected by the decline in our electricity output and also exceptional regulatory measures are introduced in France in difficult market conditions, said Chief Executive Luc Raymond, who said EDF priority was now to put the company back on track. He said core earnings will be significantly higher in 2023. EDF's nuclear output in France fell by 30%. To its lowest since 1988, as more than half of its 56 aging nuclear power stations went offline for repairs, which has been delayed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. France has the biggest fleet of nuclear plants in Europe. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, the Taiwanese have also found a weather balloon, but they say, now, you know what? Take it easy. Now, Taiwan says it has found the remnants of what appears to be a crashed Chinese weather balloon. Now, Taiwan's military said it had spotted an unidentified object drifting above Dongjin, a Taiwanese-controlled island off China's coast at 11 o'clock local time, that is 3 hours GMT on Thursday. It later found a crash site on a shooting range. Initial investigations suggested that the remnants were part of a meteorological instrument, the military added. On Friday, Taiwan Defense Ministry Minister Chiu Ku-cheng said the officials would further investigate the crash balloon but would not jump to any conclusions. This is the first time remnants of such a balloon have been discovered in Taiwan offshore island, said senior defense officials Chen Yulin, according to local media. Well, they don't want to jump to conclusion. They want to find out exactly what are taking place before they make their comments, which is a good one there. But what do you think? What do you think? But in China, one of Chinese most high-profile billionaire bankers has gone missing. His company has reported. Now, Bao Fan, the chief executive of China Renaissance Holdings, has not been able to be reached in recent days, the firm said in a market update on Thursday. Mr. Bao is a leading deal broker in China whose clients include top tech companies Didi and Mutual. Now, his firm announcement has renewed concerns over a potential Beijing crackdown on finance and tech figures. Now, shares in the investment firm plunged on Friday after it told shareholders it has not been able to contact Mr. Bao Fan. The board added it was not aware of any information that indicates that Mr. Bao unavailability is or might be related to business and or operation of the group. Now, when asked for further comments, China Renaissance referred to it as notice to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. The company did not specify how long Mr. Bao had been missing. Chinese business newswire Kexin cited sources saying staff had not been able to contact him for 2 days. Maybe he's chilling out, or he decided to turn his phone and everything off. But what do you think? Well. It is coming away from Starr Radio UK. A final one before we come to the UK front. Cyclone Gabriel, thousands yet to be contacted by after New Zealand storm is a story. One of the confirmed deaths was a 2-year-old girl whose family watched her being swept away in floodwaters. My goodness. Ella Louise Collins, her husband, and their two children were trapped in their one-story home in Hawke's Bay, one of the hardest hit areas. The water was about 10 centimeters, that's 4 inches, from the ceiling in our house and rose extremely quickly and violently, she wrote on a Facebook post. They tried to reach a neighbor's roof for safety, but were stopped by what Miss Collins called a sudden torrent of water, which almost drowned us all. The water swept away her daughter Ivy, who drowned, and that is a very, very sad one. Some pictures that I'm seeing here is quite troubling, but it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Moving on now finally to some of the stories making the rounds here in the UK. In the UK, a British embassy spy has been sentenced to 13 years. A former security guard at the UK embassy in Berlin is sentenced to 13 years and 2 months in prison for spying for Russia. David Valentine Smith, 58, has admitted passing secret information to the Russian authorities. He was caught in an undercover sting operation in which fake Russian agents offered him the chance to obtain highly sensitive information. Mr. Justice Wall said Smith developed anti-British and anti-Western feelings while employed at the embassy. The judge said Smith put embassy staff at maximum risk by passing on their photos to the Russian embassy in Berlin. But Smith had argued he had simply wanted to inconvenience and embarrass the embassy and was suffering from depression at the time. Of course, he has to find something to say, isn't it? But interestingly, the spying cost the taxpayer £820,000. Wow. Okay, now. A couple of stories more, and I bring the program to a close. Now, police are facing pleased to face questions over Nicola Bulley disclosures. Now, police will be asked about Nicola Bulley's health disclosure to ensure they were necessary information, Commissioner says. Now, John Edwards said, now, personal details should not be disclosed inappropriately. The 45-year-old disappeared 3 weeks ago during the Riverside Dog Walk in St. Michael's on Ware in Lancashire. Now, Lancashire police was criticized for making her struggles with alcohol and menopause public. Now, Mr. Edwards said data protection laws existed to ensure personal information is used properly and fairly. Now, police can disclose information to protect the public and investigate crime, but they will need to be able to demonstrate such disclosure was necessary, he said. This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, power cuts and schools close as storm Otto hits. And some stories coming true. Around 30 homes are without power, and dozens of such schools closed as Storm Otto caused disruption across Scotland and northern England. Now, the first named storm of the year brought widespread winds of more than 60 miles per hour, with Cairngorm Mountains recording speeds of up to 120 miles per hour. High winds and falling trees have caused damage to vehicles and buildings. Now, trains, buses, and ferry services have been delayed or cancelled, with trees blocking many routes in Aberdeenshire. Felix, I hope you are doing very well there. A Met Office yellow warning for high winds will be in place across most of Scotland until 15 hours, with warnings from the borders and northeast of England in place until 14 hours. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Getting ready for the weekend wherever you might be. Yes. The final story this time around from Stormont, Northern Ireland. The Prime Minister is meeting Stormont parties over the Northern Ireland goods deal. And it says Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is meeting Northern Ireland's political parties amid speculation a deal on the Northern Ireland Protocol could soon be struck. Sources suggest a deal could be reached as early as next week on post-Brexit trading arrangement. Mr. Sunak is meeting party leaders at a hotel near Belfast before travelling to meet EU leaders in Germany. Now, Sinn Féin's President Mary Lou MacDonald said she believed very significant progress has been made. Now, sources suggest a deal could be reached as early as next week on post-Brexit trading arrangements. Now, however, the Prime Minister's meeting with the Democratic Unionist Party is taking longer than expected. The DUP delegates have yet to emerge from talks with Mr. Sunak. Now, the Foreign Secretary is also holding talks with the European Commission Vice President Maroš Šefčovič. The Foreign Office said James Cleverly's meeting was part of an ongoing engagement and constructive dialogue with the EU to find practical solutions that work for people of Northern Ireland. The Northern Ireland Protocol is a trade deal that was agreed to ensure the free movement of goods across the Irish land border after Brexit. Well. And this is where I bring the program to a close for today. As I did say earlier on, our money man is under the weather, so he'll be having a chill today. And therefore, we will want you to just take a chill as well. But God willing, next week, Friday, he'll be joining us. But let me say, once again, good afternoon to the one and only Harriet Linda Pallian, and congratulations to you, the Pallians, for the new addition to the family. Yeah, Asantoa. I hope you are all doing very, very well. And on that note, let me say, have a top of the weekend. Keep safe wherever you might be, and of course, enjoy yourself. So this is where I bring the program to a close, but I bring you this song, and this is from Ash. It is a cover version of Bob Marley's song, No Woman, No Cry. Enjoy it, and I see you on Monday, God willing. Oh, of course, on Sunday, where we bring you the church broadcast and all that there. So on that note, bye-bye for now. It's me, Archie, saying have a top of the day. Bye-bye.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
No tears. to sit in the government yard and trenched out, about observing the hypocrites, mingle with the good people with me. Good friends we have and good friends we've lost along the way. In this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears, I said. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Here, little darling, don't shed no tears. No woman, no cry.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
When we used to say